Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we will be tying a raccoon tail with a coyote and raccoon mixed dubbing for the body. And then I've put a brown saddle hackle collar on this one, and that's tied on a 1/8 ounce ball head jig. So stick around and let's get to tying. Okay, so we have our ball jig in the vise, and we're just going to start by tying some black flat wax 210 denier on there, and then we'll get going. And we'll give that little tag end a snip. And then we'll just tie in our rabbit strip, or pardon me, our raccoon strip tail. And yeah, that looks about right. And you really want to try and cinch this down as best you can, because as you just saw there, the raccoon strip likes to follow the thread around the shank of the hook. So you got to really keep it tight and keep a good grip on it while you're doing it. And hence that's why the 210 denier is also nice, because you can crank on it a bit better, a bit more. Okay, so that should be good. Okay, so now that we have our tail tied in, I'm just going to make a loop here with my finger, and I'm going to bring the thread back over kind of to the base of the tail here, as you can see, and then I'm going to bring that thread forward again up to the ball of the head here, and then we're just left with this loop. And then what I'm going to do is take my dubbing tool, and I'm going to stick the dubbing tool in the loop. As you can see, it has two little hooks kind of on it, almost like two shepherd's hooks type of thing. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to hold it out like this, almost sort of parallel right into my chest. And I'm going to leave a bit of a gap in there with my finger. And then I'm going to take some of this raccoon and coyote tail that I had cut earlier and insert that into the loop. And I'm going to put that right high, and I'm going to kind of thin it out and push that up to the shank or up to the top of the loop, kind of a thing. And I'm going to do the same again here. And these are fairly long pieces, so I might end up trimming some of these later, or there will probably be some that just sort of don't get caught in the loop, but most of it should stick. Okay, and then I will take a bit more. A few more of these pieces and stick those in the loop. And I'm wondering if that might be good. I still have more to add if I need to. Actually, yeah, I'll add a bit more. I'm still getting used to doing these dubbing loops. This is sort of my probably only my third time or two or so doing these. So I'm learning with you, kind of a thing. And we'll throw this piece in here. All right, well, we'll see what this gets us. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to take our tool, we're going to hold it out straight like this, and then we're just going to turn the top of this, and then this just starts to twist the thread. And we'll do that until it's really good and twisted. And so what that's doing is it's incorporating the thread into the hair or the fur. And yeah, a lot of the little sort of undergrowth pieces are certainly coming out here, as you can probably see them floating around in the air around me. It's a bit of a mess. Spin that a bit more. Okay, and now I think we're ready to wrap. Bring that around. And I'm just going to brush this back as we go, because I want this to be really, this will be really nice, have a really nice look to it, be really woolly kind of looking. And I'll bring that on top of that. And we'll just get rid of some of these as we go, try and get rid of some of those smaller, loose, finer hairs that won't get caught up in the thread itself. And then we'll come around another time. Yeah, I think we have pretty much the perfect amount here. And then we'll come around one more time, and then what we're going to do is we're going to bring our main thread line around to tie this off and to secure that. Okay, so now you have the dubbing all the way to the head, and then I'm just going to finish tying this off here. And then what you can do is you can just snip off this little piece that's still being held by the dubbing tool. And then what you're left with is this really neat looking sort of woolly kind of bug looking thing. And what we'll do now is just to give it a bit more sort of like color variation and depth, we'll tie in a piece of brown saddle hackle, which I was actually all out of brown saddle hackle, and so I just kind of salvaged this piece off another jig that I tied a while back, and I didn't really like it, so I took it apart. So that's where this is from, but it should work out just fine. And we'll just tie that in. We'll just tie the tip of it in here. And pull that tight. And then we'll just wrap. And so what this will do, this saddle hackle, this will just give the jig a bit more action. This saddle hackle will move around pretty nice in the water. And I'm just trying to pull any trapped little hairs out. Right, and then I will tie off the feather here. And we'll give that a snip. And I'll brush these back. And then we're ready to whip finish. And I'll just get my whip finisher here and brush that back a bit. And away we go. And that should be good. Now you can add, some resin to this if you want. You don't need to. If you do add resin or head cement or whatever it is you use, I would suggest that it should be pretty thin stuff, because you don't want to get that on the saddle hackle here, which is right up against the base of the ball head. So just be wary of that as you're doing it. But yeah, we'll pick this out a bit more and try and get some of these looser hairs out, but it looks like more or less everything is in there pretty good. And so what'll happen in the water is this raccoon tail here will stand pretty much straight up. Raccoon tail is super buoyant, and so it'll stand straight up, and then these little hairs here will have a bit of action in the water as it just waves around, kind of a thing, and you can just pound that on the bottom. Whether you're in sand or mud or rocks, this will be an excellent little jig. Just pounding it, just slowly pounding it on the bottom a bit, giving it a bit of action. And in fact, I'll insert some footage I did in my little plastic tank here of how this looks in the water. So I'll insert that right now. And so as you can see there, it is completely buoyant. That raccoon tail just stands straight up. And you do get a bit of action from that brown saddle hackle collar. And the raccoon hairs kick a little bit as well in the water, but that'll be an excellent little jig just for standing up straight and just like pounding off the bottom just like this. All right, folks, so there you have it. Little, what I like to call the Wooly Raccoon. Give it a try for yourself and see if you like it, but this is going to be a highly effective jig for smallmouth. Perhaps even walleye will like this as well, but mainly I've made this for smallmouth because that's what I have in my area. And yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.